Here we go again, sports fans. I'm Ernie Harwell. And welcome to Chicago Chi-Feds Baseball. Here on WAPBA, you always have a front row seat. Today we're coming to you from Chicago, where the Terriers will meet the hometown Chi-Feds before a hostile crowd. Overall, they now stand at 5-0. Game number 3 of 3 here in Chicago. The Chi-Feds have snookered the Terriers so far. The Chi-Feds take the field here in the first. Defensively for Chicago. Beck at first base. Farrell at second. Tinker, the shortstop. Zeider at third. Across the outfield, in left, it's Drilling. In center, Wickland. And over in right, Black. Wilson is behind the plate and warming up in the pen now for Chicago. The right-handed chucker, Fisk. This is Fisk's second start of the season. 1 win, no losses. He won his last start. After 1 game, his ERA at 0. Good control. He will be facing Terriers starter, right-hander Groom. So settle in. We're ready to start this game. Tobin to lead it off for the Terriers. His average at 136. He has yet to walk. Right-hander Fisk ready. He brings it in. Slow bounder up the middle. Tinker is over. Good bounce. The throw to first. Bounces in the dirt. Beck scoops it. And they get him for the first out. Next to bat for St. Louis is Drake. 1 away. Weak start for Drake. Delos hitting 50. Drake does not get on much. Drake waiting for Fisk. Wilson ready to receive. He brings it in. He hits a lazy fly ball. Drake got under it. And now so does Drilling. Hits in the bag. 2 down. Two gone. First inning. It's now the port side swinger Miller to the bat. To date, he's hitting .412. He's walked 3 times in his 20 trips. The batter stands in. Fisk poised. The pitch. Stroked solidly to left field. It drops in front of Drilling, and it skips off his shin. He's chasing it down. But Miller will make second. Drilling picks up an error. Scored that a single. Two gone. First inning. 1 on. Here's Boucher to take his swings. He's an occasional hitter. To date, batting 3 for 17. He's walked once. Good speed at second. Boucher waits. Fisk gets set to work on him. Miller extending his lead. The pitch lifted high to left. Drilling is drifting toward the line. And he hauls it in. Side retired. That'll do it for St. Louis. No runs on 1 hit. 1 misadventure for the Chi-Feds. 1 left on. Terriers, nothing. Chi-Feds coming up. For the Terriers, their record now, 1-4. Having lost 3 in a row. In the league, they're 8 in batting at 195. The Terriers take the field here in the first. Manager McGraw sends out his squad this way. Miller at first base. Mice at second. Bridwell the shortstop. Boucher at third. And the outfield. In left, it's Drake. In center, Miller. And over in right, Tobin. Simon is behind the plate. And on the mound for the Terriers, the right-handed Groom. This is Groom's third start of the season. No wins, 2 losses. He's coming off 2 losses. Bob has worked 9 full innings. His ERA at 6. Zyder to lead it off for the Chi-Feds, right-hander. So far at the plate, batting 182. He has 3 RBIs. He's walked once and he's 23 trips. Raleigh ready. Pitcher Groom eyeing Zyder. Now he's ready. Popped up, shallow center field. Miller is coming on, and he's got it. 1 away. One out. Next up, Flack. To date, offensively, his average at .421. 1 homer, 3 ribbies. He's walked 3 times, and he's 23 trips. Groom looking home. The pitch comes in. Hit in the air to center. Miller takes 3 steps to his right, and he covers it. 2 gone. Well, here's drilling. The Chi-Feds have 2 outs. Bases clear. So far, batting .350. 1 homer, 5 ribbies, 3 walks in his 23 trips. Groom gets set to work on him. Groom brings it to the plate. Check swing. He held up, and he walks. Wilson walks up. He bats right. He bats cleanup for Chicago. 2 away. Drilling on first. Arch can hit on the year. 4 for 12. He's walked once. Wilson waiting for Groom. Simon set. Groom kicks and deals. Swung on. Strike. Drilling is running. The throw. Going to be close. He hooks the bag and eludes the tag. That's his first steal of the season. So Wilson will get back in there. Simon sets up. Drilling stretches his lead off second. The pitch. It's lined to center field. Miller is chasing it down. Still after it. He's up with it. Drilling is well around third. They're waving Drilling in, and he scores. As the throw comes into second, Wilson holds it first for the single. So the single drives in 1, and the Chi-Feds go ahead by a run, 1-0. First inning. That's Wilson's first run batted in of the season. 1 on, the bottom of the first inning. Here's Beck to hit for the Chi-Feds. Fred starting off well, hitting a solid 300. Beck waiting. Pitcher Groom set to go. They're holding Wilson. But he's well off the bag. Groom rocks and fires. Swung on. Bounced up the middle. Bridwell racing over. And he's got it. Flips the mice at second. And that retires the side. For the Chi-Feds, 1 run, 1 hit, no errors. They lead 1. They move ahead in the game. Chi-Feds leading by 1. 1-0. Bridwell, Miller, and Simon to bat next. Bridwell will start the second. Al has a lot to prove. To date, batting only 1 for 17. He's walked twice. Catcher ready. The pitch. That's high and deep by Bridwell. Quickland is on the run. On the run. It's starting to tail away from him. He makes a catch. He stayed with it beautifully. 1 down. Miller comes up the bat. Unreliable at the plate on the year. 4 for 19. No walks yet. Miller takes his stance. Catcher ready. It's roped hard to right. Flack races to the line. He dives for it. It looks like a trap. Miller's headed for second. The ump signals hit. He trapped it. And Miller cruises into second. Here's Simon to take his swings. 1 out. Miller standing out at second for St. Louis. Not in there for his bat. To date, 5 hits in 16 trips. He's walked once. Miller on second is fast enough here. Fisk put on the rubber. Fisk looking in. He breathes deeply. Exhales. He delivers. Taken for a strike. Simon goes down looking. 2 down. Miller down at second. 2 away. Mice now walks out the bat. His recent track record at the plate isn't good at all. On the season, 4 hits in 16 trips. He has 4 RBIs. He's walked once. Mice waiting. Bat stirring slightly. Pitcher Fisk set to go. He cranks and fires. Lifted high to left. Thrilling is drifting toward the line. And he hauls it in. 3 down. That'll do it for St. Louis. No runs on 1 hit. 1 left. They had a chance but could not convert. The score is still 1-0 Chicago as we go to the bottom of the second inning. Quickland, Tinker, and Farrell to bat next. Quickland leading it off. On the season, carrying a .316 average, 1 homer, 7 ribbies. He's walked once in his 21 trips. Batter waits. Groom will go to work on him. Groom comes to the plate. Line drive base hit to right. Quickland rounds first. But Tobin wings it back into Mice, and Quickland will settle for a single. No outs. Second inning. 1 on. Chicago now sends Tinker to bat. Putting on a fine display so far. Batting .476. He has 3 RBIs. Quickland can motor at first. Pitcher Groom eyeing Tinker. Now he's ready. The pitch. Swung on. Strike. And there goes Quickland. Simon throws. Going to be close. Quickland has this base wrapped up. He's safe at second. That's his first steal of the season for Chicago. Their second stolen base in this game. So Tinker will get back in there. Simon set. Quickland now with an aggressive lead. He brings it home. A towering fly ball to left center. It's back. Way back. Gone! Home run for Tinker. Groom kicks the rubber. Not happy with that pitch. So Tinker pops a 2-run dinger, his first home run of the season, and the Chi-Feds add to their lead. The score now 3-0, and Tinker now has 5 runs batted in on the season. Next up, Chicago hitter Farrell. Now and again he'll get a hit for you on the year. 3 for 14. He has 3 RBIs. He's walked 3 times. Simon crouched down now. The pitch to Farrell. Farrell hits a frozen rope to straightaway center. Right there is Miller, and he gloves it for the putout. 1 away. Fisk to face Groom. At the plate this season, he's 1 for 4. Fisk steps in. Simon crouched down now. He brings it home. Fisk chops it toward Miller. He backs up and plays the big hop. He waves off Groom and takes it himself. 2 away. Now at bat, Zyder. Zyder takes his stance. Simon sets up. The delivery. High fly ball to center. Miller drifts back. He's at the warning track. Taps the glove and brings it down. That's 3 away. The line for the Chi-Feds, 2-2-0. So the Chi-Feds now with a safer margin. Terriers on the short end, 3-0. The Terriers will have Groom, Tobin, and Drake here in the third. Groom to lead it off for the Terriers. Right-handed batter to face Fisk. At the plate this season, he's 0 for 3. And walk once. Fisk looking home. Fisk delivers. Line to left center. Giving chase is Wickland. He hightails it to the track, and he snares it on the fly. 1 away. Now coming to bat for the Terriers. Tobin. Fisk poised. To the plate. High and tight. The ump says ball 4. And Jack will get down to first. That was Tobin's first walk of the season. Drake getting ready to go. Batter facing Fisk. Right-hander Fisk ready. Fisk delivers. Fisk loses him, and he trots down to first. And Tobin moves into scoring position. 2 on. Miller is out to take his hacks. Pitcher Fisk set to go. Fisk cranks it up. Ouch! Caught him in the leg. He couldn't get out of the way. He's rubbing that leg. Miller's in pain, but he seems to be okay. And he trots down to first. And the bases are loaded. 1 away. Bases crowded toward St. Louis. Down by 3. The top of the third inning. Boucher the hit. He's hitting 167. 1 RBI for Al this season. Fisk is on the slab. Shakes off the sign. Now he has one he likes. Righty against righty. Infielders back. The runners take their lead. Here he comes. On the ground. Back through the box. This could be 2. Farrell feels it. Goes to second for 1. Back to first. Bang, bang. Double play. And they get out of the inning. That'll do it for St. Louis. No runs on no hits. There were no errors. 2 left. An opportunity wasted after 2.5. It's still 3-0. Chi-Feds. The big hitters coming up against Groom. 2, 3, 4. Flack, Drilling, and Wilson. Flack to lead it off for the Chi-Feds. Flack takes his stance. Simon sets up. Flack hits one high, hard, right field. But it won't be enough. Tobin covers it. That had chances for Max. 1 away. Left-handed hitter Drilling gets set to bat against Groom. Groom gets set to work on him. The pitch. Fastball. It's a number to the left of the mound. Bridwell charges. Picks up the ball barehanded. Then he gets him. 2 away. Wilson, bat in hand. Wilson steps in. Catcher Simon sets his target. The pitch. On the hands. Wilson sends it high in the air, but shallow. Bridwell drifts under it and bags it for the putout. 3 away. The Terriers retire the side in order. Shy Feds stop 3-0. For St. Louis, it'll be Bridwell, Miller, and Simon. Bridwell will lead off the 4th. He bats left-handed. Wilson sets up. The pitch. Line to right. Flack will play it on the hop. And Bridwell is on with a single. One on. St. Louis now sends Miller to bat from the right. Miller now ready. Fisk will go to work on him. The offering from Fisk. Fly ball. Long ball. Quickland posts himself under it, and he makes the catch. And there's 1 away. And Bridwell returns to first. Simon coming up. He stands in. Right-hander Fisk ready. The pitch. Grounded hard wide of third. Zider takes it on the short hop. He'll go to first. And they get him. 2 gone. Bridwell moves to second on the play. 2 down. Runner on second. Mice steps up to face Fisk. Fisk gets set to work on him. He lets it go. Ground ball to first. Beck covers it and touches the bag. 3 down. The half for the Terriers. No runs on 1 hit. They leave 1. They had a chance but could not convert. We've played 3.5. Terriers down 3-0. For Chicago, it'll be Beck, Quickland, and Tinker. Beck will get it started for the Shy Feds, hitting from the left side. The batter stands in. Groom poised. Groom winds and fires. Line to right. Tobin will play it on the hop. And Beck is on with a single. Quickland comes up to bat. Quickland steps up to the plate. Simon ready to receive. Groom now. A little roller to the right side. Mice running in. He pounces on it, flips it to first. And they get him by a hair. 1 away. Beck moves into scoring position. 1 gone. 4th inning. 1 on. It's now Tinker to bat. Joe ready. Simon set. Pitcher steps off. Groom is back on the rubber. The pitch from Groom. Smashed toward the gap in right center. Miller gallops for it. He cuts it off. Beck is digging. He screams around third. He ran right through the red light. Here's the throw. The play at the plate. What a throw. And they get him. Oh, those Terriers. They nip him at the plate. Beck just doesn't have the wheels for that. What was he thinking about? 2 gone. And Tinker ends up at second. 2 down. 4th inning. 1 on. Farrell walks up. Farrell steps in. Simon sets up. Tinker moves quietly toward third. Now Groom comes home with it. Swung on. Bounced toward the mound. Groom knocks it down. Now he has it. He goes to first for the 3rd out. That'll do it for Chicago. Nothing across. No errors. They leave 1. The score still 3-0. Terriers trail. The Terriers will have Groom, Tobin, and Drake here in the 5th. Pitcher Groom to lead it off. Batter facing Fisk. Wilson sets up. The pitch to Groom. Cut on, way out in front. Strike 3. One away. Next batter, Tobin. Tobin has patience, although he's yet to walk this season. Jack ready. Catcher ready. Fisk to the wind. Tobin is caught looking. Must have shaved the corner. Tobin is glaring back and questioning the ump. He heads back to the bench. A pair of strikeouts for Fisk here in the 5th. 2 away. Next to bat for St. Louis is Drake from the right. Delos is 0 for 1 with a walk. Fisk poised. Here's a pitch. Swung on, grounded to Zider at third. He bobbles it, picks it up, throws quickly. Out by a step. 3 away. So the Terriers go down to 1-2-3. The score is still 3-0 Chicago as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Fisk, Zider, and Flack to bat next. Leading off, Fisk. Simon sets up. Groom deals. Popped up, shallow center field. Miller is coming on, and he's got it. 1 away. One down, 5th inning. We have Zider coming up to hit. He hits from the right. He's the top of the order. Hitting 167. He stands in. Pitcher Groom set to go. Groom with the pitch. Wide of the mark, and Zider walks. One out, 5th inning, 1 on. Here's Flack to hit for the Chi-Feds. His average at .381. Groom prepares to come home. Space on the right. Zider leading off. Jammed him. Slow roller beyond the mound. Mize charges. Feels it. Throws quickly to first. And he nails Flack by a step. 2 away. Zider moves up. We have Drilling to bat for the Chi-Feds. He bats from the left side. 2 outs. Runner on second. Hitting at .333. Simon set. Zider stretches his lead off second. Groom brings it. Drilling smacks it toward the hole. Bridwell far to his right. Dives. Nice stop. But he'll hold the ball. Drilling to safe at first. Zider makes it safely to third. Good heads-up base running. Two on. The bottom of the 5th inning. Wilson's up. Wilson is 1 for 2. 1 RBI. Simon crouched down now. Groom watching Zider at third. Groom comes home. Taken. Ball. Wilson walks. The bases are loaded. Bases jammed. 2 outs. Chicago now sends Beck to bat, hitting from the left side. Fred, 1 for 2. Fred has 3 RBIs this season. The batter stands in. Groom on the rubber. Groom comes home. Beck swings hard and lifts the fly ball to right. The runner's on the move. Tobin backpedals, still drifting back. He might run out of room. He times his leap. Gone! It sailed over the wall for a grand slammer. Whoa, baby. That ball just kept on carrying. Tobin hangs his head. He just missed making a spectacular catch. Groom hung one. and Beck made him pay. So with 2 outs, Beck has supplied a grand slam home run, his first home run of the season, and the Chi-Feds take a big lead, 7-0, and Beck now with 4 runs batted in the game. Now coming to bat for the Chi-Feds, Strickland. Groom looking in at the target. Groom fires it in. He pops him up, back of second. Mice settles under it. Piece of cake. 3 down. For the Chi-Feds, 4 runs on 2 hits. They are now clobbering the Terriers. Terriers down 7-0. The Terriers now send up the heart of their order to face Fisk, the 3-4-5 hitters. Miller, Boucher, and Bridwell. To get it going, Miller. Miller is a guy who'll battle you to get on. Batter ready. Fisk is ready to fire it in. The pitch. Miller bruises it, heading for the gap in left center. But Drilling flags it down on the first bounce, and Miller decides not to stretch it. He hugs first with a single. Ward with his second hit in this game. Next batter, Boucher. Pitcher Fisk set to go. The pitch. Slap towards second. Farrell takes it on 1 hop. Flips the Tinker. They get him. Over to first. Safe. Boucher beats the ball to first. But they get the lead runner. 1 away. Bridwell is now up. Batter ready. Wilson sets up. The pitch comes in. Bang to right. And it drops. Flack takes it on the hop. Boucher is around second. He'll stop there as the throw comes in. And Al has himself a single. That's Bridwell's second hit of the game. Here's Miller coming to the plate. Huey does not get extra base hits. Miller waiting for Fisk. Fisk set. The pitch. A towering fly ball to left center. Strickland is racing over, moves under it. He shades his eyes, stumbles, and brings it down. Both runners are tagging. He's headed for third. No, it's a bluff. He holds at second as the throw comes back in. Now coming up, Simon. Mike does not get extra base hits. Simon stands in. Fisk comes set. Fisk over the offering. Simon lofts a routine fly ball to center. Strickland moves under it and hauls it in. Side retired. The half for the Terriers. No runs, 2 hits, and no errors. They leave 2. An opportunity wasted. Terriers trailing by 7 as we go to the home half. The Chi-Feds will send out the bottom of the lineup. Tinker, Farrell, and Fisk. Tinker to lead it off. Right-hander Groom ready. The pitch. Swung on. Hot smash to Mice. Just out of reach. And Tinker is aboard with a single. Third hit for Tinker in the game. Farrell up there. Catcher Simon sets his target. First baseman Miller right on the bag. The pitch swung on. Grounded hard to short off his chest. He picks it up, throws quickly to first, 1 down. Tinker moves up. There was no chance to get 2. Chi-Feds hitter Fisk. Catcher ready. Tinker at second takes a big lead. Groom rocks and fires. Lined. Miller knocks it down. And Fisk beats it out. Tinker rounds third, but puts on the brakes. He'll hold right there. Zyder getting ready to go. Simon ready to receive. Infielder's back. Quick move to the plate. Way outside. Zyder draws a base on balls. The bases are loaded. Ducks on the pond. The bottom of the sixth inning. We have Black, the bat for the Chi-Feds. He bats from the left side. Simon crouched down now. Infielder's back. Groom comes to him. Punched back to the mound. Groom has it, and he drops it. Picks it up. Fires to first. Just in time, but the run scores, and the runners move up. He wanted to come home with it. The score now, hungry 'cause I ate nothing. Drilling up there. Simon crouched down now. The runners take their lead. The pitch hit down the line inside third, and it hops right over his glove, and it rolls into left for a base hit. Fisk scores. Zyder is around third. Coming down the line, he scores. And Thrilling is aboard with a single. So the single drives in two, and the Chi-Feds add to their big lead, outpacing the Terriers. A big 10-0. That gives Thrilling 7 RBI on the season, and that's the Chi-Feds' 10th hit. Wilson is the next hitter. Groom now set. Groom kicks and deals. Grounded to Bridwell. He feels it. Over to first, and that's out number 3. For the Chi-Feds, 3 runs on 3 hits. So the ship is sailing, and the Terriers are not aboard. The score is a big 10-0 as we go to the top of the 7th inning. For St. Louis, here in the 7th, Mice, Groom, and Tobin. Mice leading it off. Mice does not get on much. Wilson ready to receive. Now the delivery. Mice smacks it toward the hole. Tinker far to his right. Nice stop, but he bobbles it. Mice takes a big turn around first, but he'll stop there. They give him a single. It would have been a tough play, even if he had fielded it cleanly. Now at bat, Groom. Fisk focuses in on the target. Terriers manager McGraw looking at his score sheet. McGraw is yanking Groom. Comas will pinch hit for him. Bats left. He grabs a bat. Heads to the box. So Groom goes 6 innings. He yielded 10 runs on 10 hits. 2 homers. He stands to lose it unless the Terriers can make up the 10-run deficit. Comas comes up to bat. Now Fisk ready. Fisk rocks and fires. Chopped over the middle. Fisk leaps and can't reach it. Tinker and Farrell go for it and trickles through for a single. Mice is around second. They're holding Mice at second as the throw comes in. A pair of singles for St. Louis. And that's his first hit this season. Next batter, Tobin. Tobin gets in there. Fisk looking in at the target. The runners take their lead. Fisk with the pitch, lined hard over second. Base hit. Flack is after it, but he cuts it off. Mice is around third. Comas is around second. The throw comes into Beck, and they're holding Mice at third. Tobin loads them up for the single. Nobody out. 7th inning. Ducks on the pond. We have Drake coming up to hit. Delos has 2 RBIs this season. Batter facing Fisk. Fisk prepares to come home. Infield back at double play depth. And now the pitch. Cut on. Way out in front, strike 3. One away, and he leaves the bases loaded. Bases all loaded up. The top of the 7th inning. Miller, the hit. On the season, only 1 RBI so far for Ward. Ward ready. Fisk sets up on the rubber again. Shy Feds playing for the double play. The delivery hit to straightaway center field. He was shading him to right. Wickland running it down. He has it. The runners are tagging, but they're holding him at third. The Terriers have 2 down. Bases loaded. Mice, Comas, Tobin around the diamond. Down by 10. We have Boucher coming up to hit. He hits from the right. Al has 1 RBI on the season. Fisk sets up on the rubber again. Here's a pitch. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. And Boucher is out. He didn't get cheated on that cut. That's the 3rd out. And he leaves the bases loaded. And they get out of it with a big strikeout. For the Terriers, no runs on 3 hits, 3 left. That's 10 men left on base. In this game, coming into this game, they were 8 in runners left on base with 29. Pretty good. They get out of the inning. We've played 6.5. Terriers still down by 10. Okay, all you Terriers fans listening at home, on your feet. Take a break for the 7th inning stretch. But Shy Feds will have Beck, Wickland, and Tinker here in the 7th. Willett is coming on in relief for St. Louis. The right-handed Willett sporting a generous 10.12 ERA. This is his 2nd appearance. He's worked 2 2/3. With this game pretty well decided, they'll give him some innings. For the Terriers, McGraw now has Chapman catching. Simon is out of the game. Beck leading it off. Willett takes a few warm-up pitches. He's rubbing up the ball. We're ready to go. Batter ready. Chapman sets up. He brings it home. Routine grounder to second. He's up with it. He flips to Miller, and they get him. 1 down. Wickland is up next. Willett ready. The pitch comes in. Wickland nudges a little worm killer to second. He could beat this out. The quick snap from Mice, and Wickland is out at first. Wickland thinks he won the race to the bag, but the ump just turns and walks away. And that's out number 2. Next batter, Tinker. Right-hander, Willett, ready. And a pitch. It's up to the right side. Miller fields it on the big bounce. He will flip to Willett, and Tinker is retired. The Terriers retire the side in order. Shy Feds still with a 10-run lead. We go to the top of the 8th inning. I should note this. The Shy Feds first in secondary average. Strong in walks. Stolen bases. Extra base hit for St. Louis. Here in the 8th, Bridwell, Miller, and Chapman. Here's Bridwell to start it off. The Terriers need something biblical here. Fisk gets set to pitch. Fisk winds and fires. A towering fly ball to center. Wickland roams over. Plenty of room. And hauls it in. 1 away. Miller walking up the bat. Pitcher Fisk set to go. And now the pitch. Bounce to Tinker. He feels it. Takes his time. Throws over to Beck. And Miller is gone. And that's the second out. Chapman up there. Batter up. Wilson sets up. Fisk to the wind. Cut on. Ground ball to Zider. He's up with it. The throw across the diamond. Out at first. 3 away. Fisk sets them down in order. Terriers still with a 10-run deficit. The Chi-Feds will have Farrell, Fisk, and Zider here in the 8th. To get it going, Farrell. Willett looking in at the target. Willett winds up. Farrell dribbles one to the left of the mound. Willett can't reach it. Bridwell charges in, grabs it, and throws in one motion, and nips Farrell at first. And there's one away. Fisk up there. Chapman ready to receive. He wheels and deals. Grounded to short. Bridwell is there. The throw to first. Gets him. And that's out number 2. Now at bat, Zider. Zider ready to bat. Willett looking in at the target. The pitch comes in. Grounded to the right side. Mice to his left. And it sneaks through. Single for Zider. Now coming up, Flack. Flack ready to bat. Willett looking in. The pitch is on the way. Grounded deep toward the hole. Boucher just reaches it, and he won't get off the throw. Flack rounds first and holds. Infield hit for Flack. Here comes Drilling to take his cuts. Willett prepares to come home. The pitch. Cut on, hit like a bullet. Base hit right field. They were off with a hit. Zider is around third. He's headed for home. Here comes the throw. Safe. Slid around the tag. The throw to third. Safe. And Drilling holds at first. Single and an RBI. So Drilling with a ribby single. The score now, an unbelievable 11-0. And Drilling now has 8 runs batted in on the season. Now at bat, Wilson. Batter up. Catcher ready. The pitch. There's call third strike right down the pike. 3 down. For the Chi-Feds, 1 run on 3 hits, no errors. They leave 2. So the force is with the Chi-Feds. The score is 11-0 as we go to the top of the 9th inning. For St. Louis, it'll be Mice, Willett, and Tobin. Mice will start the 9th. Wilson set. Fisk winds and fires. Slow tapper toward second. He could beat this out. The quick snap from Farrell, and Mice is out at first. And there's 1 away. Willett up there. Fisk looking home. Terriers. Skipper McGraw walking down the bench. McGraw is yanking Willett. Hartley will now hit for him. That's right. He grabs some timber, heads out. Willett pitched 2 innings. He yielded 1 earned run on 3 hits. Hartley now up. Wilson set. Here comes the pitch. Slow bounder to the right side. Back to his right. Scoops it. Flips the Fisk. Just in time. Terriers. Hitter, Tobin. Tobin ready to bat. Fisk looking in at the target. The pitch. Tobin pops a little fly. Back of second. Farrell to Tinker going out. Wickland coming in. Coming in. And Wickland makes the catch in front of Tinker. And that does it. The Terriers have lost this game. The Chi-Feds have won it. Fisk has the shutout. A complete game. And a beautiful hitter. That's his first shutout of the season. Not the outcome hoped for by the St. Louis fans. Here's the line for the Chi-Feds. 11 runs on 13 hits. 1 misadventure. They lead 5 for the Terriers. No runs on 8 hits. No errors. And they leave 10. Fisk gets his second win. His record now 2-0. Groom takes his third loss. His record now 0-3. So that winds up this 3-game series. Chi-Feds take the series 3-zip for the Chi-Feds. They are hot. Now with 6 straight wins. That's a fine start to this season for the Chi-Feds. Overall, they now stand at 6-0. The Terriers now with 4 losses in a row. That puts the wraps on this one. This is WAPBA and Ernie Harwell saying so long from Chicago. Final score? Chicago Chi-Feds 11. St. Louis Terriers nothing. Hello again, everybody. I'm Ernie Harwell. And welcome to Baltimore Terrapins Baseball. Here on WAPBA, you always have a front row seat. We're coming to you from out here at the park. Today, the visiting Buffalo Buffheads will test the Terrapins at home. Overall, they now stand at 2-3. This is the third of a 3-game set. The Terrapins have won 1 and lost 1. The Terrapins take the field here in the first. Mack has set his opening slate. Swasina at first base. Nabe at second. Doolin, the shortstop. Walsh at third. And the outfield. In left, it's Simmons. In center, Meyer. And over in right, Duncan. Jacklish is behind the plate and pitching for the Terrapins. The starboard-sided Wilhelm. This is Wilhelm's second start of the season. His record, 0-1. He lost his last start. After 1 game, his ERA at 40.5. He will be facing Buffhead starter, right-hander Anderson. We'll tell you about him in the bottom half, so settle in. We're ready to start this game. To get it going for the Buffheads, here, Hagler. Hitting .364. He has 2 RBIs. He's walked once in his 23 trips. He stands in. Wilhelm staring in, ready to work. The pitch. Soft liner to right, toward the gap. It drops in front of Duncan, and Egler is aboard with a single. Now coming to bat for the Buffheads, Smith. On the year, hitting 48. He has walked once. Egler at first has wings. Smith waits. Wilhelm prepares to come home. First baseman Swasina ready for a throw from Wilhelm. Now the pitch. A laser off the bat of Smith. Doolin leaps for it. Over his head and on into left. Egler is rounding second. But the coach flashes a stop sign, and they hold Egler up as the throw comes in. A pair of singles for Buffalo. No outs. First inning, 2 on. Hanford's up, hitting 300. On the season, Hanford has 2 runs batted in. Wilhelm on the rubber, works the ball in his glove. Now Wilhelm ready. The runners take their lead. The pitch from Wilhelm. It's a shot down the line to right. Into the corner. Egler rounds third. He'll score. Smith will score. Hanford's heading for third. Here comes a relay. Safe. Good slide. Triple from Hanford. So 2 runs are plated on Hanford's first triple. And the Buffheads go ahead by 2-0 first inning. That gives Hanford 4 RBI on the season. Nobody out. First inning, 1 on. We have Loudon to bat for the Buffheads. Loudon has been hot so far this season, batting .389. Baldy waits. Wilhelm gets set to pitch. Terrapins playing for the out at first. Looks at third. The pitch. Loudon lifts a rainbringer, twisting down the line. Duncan is after it, tracks it near the right field line, and he grabs it for the out. Hanford tags. They're waving him home. Here comes a throw. And he's out. Just missed getting in. Double play. And the aggressive base running does not pay off. And Hanford not happy. He's arguing with the ump. But the manager cools him down. 2 away. The top of the first inning. Next to bat for Buffalo is Delahanty from the right. Unreliable at the plate. So far this season, 3 for 17. He has 2 RBIs. He's walked once. In the box now. Jacklish sets up. The pitch. That's high and deep by Delahanty. Meyer is on the run. On the run. It's starting to tail away from him. He makes a catch. 3 down. For the Buffheads, 2 runs on 3 hits. There were no errors. They move ahead in the game. Buffheads, 2 Terrapins coming up. For the Buffheads, overall they now stand at 3 wins and 2 losses. In the league, let's see, they're third in batting at .265. Fourth in runs. Tied for second in stolen bases with 5. Third in on-base percentage. Fourth in ERA at 2.45. The Buffheads take the field here in the first. Get your scorecard. Manager Schendel sends out his squad this way. Egler at first base. Downey at second. Loudon to the shortstop. Smith at third. The outfield consists of Delahanty in left field, Hanford in center field, and Bonnet over in right. Blair is behind the plate and warming up in the pen now for Buffalo. The starboard sided Anderson. This is Anderson's second start of the season. His record 0-1. He lost his last start. After 1 game, his ERA at 3.38. A control pitcher. Meyer will get it started for the Terrapins. hitting at .316. He has walked once. Anderson ready. The pitch. Wrapped back to the mound, and he spears it. Over to first, and Meyer is retired. Duncan steps up to face Anderson, batting second. Ice cold bat. Byrne hitting .125. Duncan has patience. Duncan takes his stance. Right-hander Anderson ready. Anderson winds up. Duncan dribbles one to the left of the mound. Anderson can't reach it. Loudon charges in, grabs it, and throws in one motion and nips Duncan at first. And that's out number 2. Here's Walsh. So far, batting .500. He has yet to walk. Walsh waiting. Blair crouched down now. Anderson kicks and deals. Swung on and missed. Side retired. So the Terrapins go in order. We've played 1. Terrapins down 2-0. Blair, Downey, then Bonin due up for Buffalo. Here's Blair to start it off. A streaky hitter so far this season. 6 hits in 19 trips. He has 2 RBIs. He's walked twice. Blair relaxes himself at the plate. Wilhelm staring in, ready to work. The pitch. Soft grounded at Walsh. He's up with it. The throw across the diamond. In time. 1 down. Next up, Buffalo hitter Downey. Not in there for his bat on the season. 4 for 17. He has 6 RBIs. He's walked once. He's stolen 1 base. Downey in the box. Pitcher Wilhelm set to go. The offering to Downey. Lined. Doolin leaps. But he won't get it, and Downey is on at first. Well, for Buffalo. Downey on first, 1 down. Bonin is stepping up to hit against Wilhelm. Unreliable at the plate. Jacklish talking with Wilhelm. They want to hold Downey close. Luther waits. Now Wilhelm ready. Space on the right. Downey leading off. Wilhelm into his motion. Delivers. Base hit right field. Duncan is after it. Spears it on 1 hop. Downey is around second. They're waving him on. Here comes a throw. Here's a play at third, and he's just safe under the tag. The Buffheads put 2 singles back-to-back. Buffheads with runners at the corners, 1 gone. The top of the 2nd inning. Pitcher Anderson up. Offensively this season, he's 0 for 2. Fred steps up. Right-handed Wilhelm goes to the set position. Infield looking for the bunt. Wilhelm watching Downey at third. The pitch. It's looped to right. Duncan coming on, but he won't get it. Downey scores. Duncan's after it. Now he has it. He comes up throwing. Bonin is well around second. The coach is waving him to third, and he gets over to third as a throw comes into Doolin. So Anderson with a ribby single. That was pitcher Anderson who delivered, helping himself. And the Buffheads add to their lead. This ball game now 3-zip, and that's his first hit this season. 2 on the top of the 2nd inning. Left-handed hitter Egler gets set to bat against Wilhelm. Joe has driven home 2 runs for the season. Strikeouts have been a problem for him. Egler waits. Jacklish set. Infield deep. Quick move to the plate. It's looped to right. Duncan coming on, but he won't get it. Bonin scores. Duncan's after it. Now he has it. He comes up throwing. Anderson is well around second. The coach is waving him to third, and he gets over to third as the throw comes into Doolin. So the single drives in one. It's now 4-zip ball game. Smith walking up the bat. Jacklish ready to receive. Terrapins playing for the double play. The pitch wide of the strike zone. Ball 4, and Smith trots down to first. That will load him up. Hanford is stepping up to hit against Wilhelm. He's a right-handed batter for Buffalo. Bases loaded. One gone. Charlie has 4 RBIs this season. The hitter stands in. Wilhelm gets set to work on him. Terrapins playing for the double play. He wheels and deals. Swung on. It's smashed deep to left center. Meyer is racing over. Anderson scores. Egler is right behind him. Smith rounds third. The throw comes into Swasina. Hanford then standing with a double. And they're holding Smith at third. So the double scores 2, and the Buffheads leave the Terrapins behind 6-0. And Hanford now with 4 runs batted in the game. Loudon up there. Wilhelm is ready to fire it in. Infield deep. Here's a pitch. It's a high fly to center. Meyer roams back. He shades his eyes, stumbles, and brings it in. Both runners tag. They're waving Smith in. Here comes the throw home. Hanford is trying for third on the throw. Here's a play at the plate, and he's safe easily. Loudon picks up a sac fly and an RBI. Hanford makes it safely to third. The carnage continues. The score now 7-0. Now coming up, Delahanty. Catcher ready. The pitch to Delahanty. Delahanty lifts a rainbringer, twisting down the line. Duncan is after it, tracks it near the right field line, and he grabs it for the out. The half for the Buffheads, 5-0. They leave 1. They are now clobbering the Terrapins. Terrapins on the short end, 7-0. For Baltimore, here in the second, Jacklish, Simmons, and Swasina. Jacklish to lead it off. Fred came out of the gate strong, now batting .333. He has 4 RBIs. Right-hander Anderson, ready. The pitch to Jacklish. Check swing. He held up, and he walks. Simmons coming up. Simmons, a fair hitter to date. Only 2 for 18. He's due. He's walked once. Batter ready. Anderson will go to work on him. The pitch. Simmons sends it deep to right, but he got under it. Bonin has it. 1 down. And Jacklish returns to first as the throw comes in. Here comes Swasina to take his cuts. He has the talent to do some damage. To date, batting only 2 for 17. He's due. No walks yet. Anderson looking in at the target. They're holding Jacklish. The pitch grounded weakly to Loudon. He charges. He's up with it. Looks at second. Pumps. He'll go to first. And that's out number 2. Jacklish moves up. Jacklish moved quickly with the pitch. No chance for the lead runner. Doolin is up next. A trusty bat so far this season. 4 for 16. He's walked once. Anderson is ready to fire it in. The pitch. High and away, and it gets by Blair. He scrambles. Jacklish moves up. Doolin stands in again. Blair crouched down now. The offering from Anderson. Grounded hard to Loudon, and he spears it. The throw to first, and he's gone. That'll do it for Baltimore. No runs on no hits. One left. They had a chance but could not convert. Buffhead stop 7-0. Blair, Downey, and Bonin due up for Buffalo. Blair will start the third. Right-handed Wilhelm goes to the set position. Wilhelm to the wind. He goes the other way. Slashed into the hole. Base hit. And Blair holds with a single. Downey is the next hitter. Right-handed Wilhelm goes to the set position. Wilhelm deals. Swung on, bounced up the middle. Doolin's racing over, and he's got it. Flips to Nabe at second. Over to first. Safe by a step, but they get the lead runner. Bonin to face Wilhelm. Jacklish crouched down now. Wilhelm comes to the plate. The heater, it's in there. Strike 3. 2 gone. Next batter, Anderson. Wilhelm looking in. Downey 2 full strides off first. The delivery from Wilhelm. Slow chopper toward Doolin. He charges, barehands it. Makes the off-balance throw to first for the third out. For the Buffheads, no runs, 1 hit. They leave 1. Terrapins trailing by 7 as we go to the home half. For Baltimore, it'll be Nabe, Wilhelm, and Meyer. Leading off, Nabe. Unreliable at the plate. To date at bat, 4 for 14. He has 2 RBIs. He's walked once. Anderson staring in, ready to work. The pitch to Nabe. Grounded to the right side, wide of first. And it squirts by Egler, and on into right for a base hit. And Nabe has himself a single for Baltimore. The first hit in this game. Terrapins hitter Wilhelm. Kaiser taking his first at bat of the season. Anderson looking home. Infield back at double play depth. Anderson delivers, swing and a miss. And Wilhelm is out. 1 away. Next batter, Meyer. Blair set. There goes Nabe. Lined back to the mound, and it's off his leg. Meyer races down the line. No play. Nabe holds up at second. Score that on a Shanburner single. Here comes Duncan to take his cuts. Duncan waits. Pitcher Anderson set to go. The pitch. Smashed hard at Egler. He scoops it up. Over to second for 1. Back to Egler at first. Not in time. And Nabe moves to third. Here's Walsh coming to the plate. Right-handed Anderson goes to the set position. The runners take their lead. The pitch swung on. Lined at Egler. He's got it. And that's out number 3. For the Terrapins, no runs on 2 hits, no errors. They leave 2. They waste a good chance. 3. Complete here in Baltimore. Terrapins still with a 7-run deficit. Well, folks, the Clouds have moved in quickly here in Baltimore. Here comes the rain. The umpire is calling time. And they're calling them in.
Don't know why there's no sun up in the sky, stormy weather. Since me and that little gal of mine ain't together, it keep raining all the time. I hope it don't rain now. Let's play ball.
And they're finally rolling back the tarp. We'll see if these pitches are still fresh. Let's play some baseball. We're at the head of the order for the Buffheads. Wilhelm will face Egler, Smith, and Henford. Here's Egler to start it off. Wilhelm is ready to fire it in. Wilhelm brings it. Wilhelm loses him, and he trots down to first. Now coming up, Smith. And here comes Terrapins, manager Mack. He's asking Wilhelm for the ball. He's calling for Yount, the right-hander. So Wilhelm is yanked early. He goes only 3 innings. The game for Wilhelm, 7 runs. So far, on 9 hits, 2 walks, 1 strikeout. He's responsible for the runner. He can only lose it. The right-handed Yount sporting a generous 22.5 ERA. This is his 2nd appearance. He's worked 2 innings. They'll give him some innings. Yount takes a few warm-up pitches. He's rubbing up the ball. We're ready to go. Now Yount ready. Egler 2 full strides off first. Yount over the offering. On the hand. Popped up. Walsh is waving off the others. He's under it. He puts it away. Henford is now up. Jacklish set. First baseman Swasina right on the bag. He lets one go. This one is hit. It may carry a long run for Simmons. If it's fair, it's trouble. And it drops a foot inside the line. Egler rounds third. The throw comes into Doolin. They're holding Egler at third. And Henford is in standing with a double. That's his 2nd double of the game. Next batter, Loudon. Jacklish ready to receive. Terrapins playing for the out at first. The runners take their lead. Yount brings it to the plate. It's a long fly ball to center field. Meyer got a late start. He's running back. Still after it. He stumbles, but he holds the ball. Both runners tag. They're waving Egler in. Here comes a throw home. Henford is trying for third on the throw. Egler scores as the throw's cut off. The play at third. And he's out. Just missed getting in. Loudon picks up a sac fly and an RBI. The score now, 8-0. The line for the Buffheads, 1 run on 1 hit. So they extend their lead. Terrapins on the short end, 8-0. For Baltimore, it'll be Jacklish, Simmons, and Swasina. To get it going, Jacklish. Right-hander Anderson, ready. Anderson brings it. An infield rollout, Jacklish. Shortstop Loudon charges. The flip to first. 1 down. Simmons is up next. Anderson staring in, ready to work. The pitch. Simmons dribbles one to the left of the mound. Anderson can't reach it. Loudon charges in, grabs it, and throws in one motion. And nips Simmons at first. 2 away. Swasina's up. Anderson gets set to pitch. Now he comes home with it. Swasina wraps it to the right side. Downey ranges to his left. A quick peg to first. And Swasina is retired to retire the side. Anderson sets them down in order. Buffheads still with a 8-run lead. We go to the top of the 5th inning. For Buffalo, it'll be Delahanty, Blair, and Downey. Here's Delahanty to lead it off. Yount will go to work on him. Now Yount comes home with it. Swung on, routine fly to left field. Simmons drifts over. He's under it. No trouble, and he covers it, and there's one away. Blair is the next hitter. Catcher Jacklish sets his target. Yount with the pitch. Blair dribbles it to a third. Walsh will have to hurry. The snap throw to first. In time to retire Blair, and that's the second out. Buffheads hitter Downey. Downey ready to bat. Jacklish ready to receive. He delivers. Hit high. That's into center. Meyer squeezes it. That's 3 away. The Terrapins retire the side in order. After 4.5, it's still hungry cause I ate nothing. Buffheads. Anderson will now face the bottom of the Terrapins lineup. Doolin, Nabe, and Yount coming up. Leading off, Doolin. Not a long ball threat. Anderson ready. Anderson winds up. Fisted to right by Doolin. Bonin will have to hustle, and it falls in front of him. He's forced to play it on the hop. He had no chance on that one, and Doolin has himself a single. Here's Nabe coming to the plate. Blair set. The pitch. Chopping ground ball up the middle. Loudon is over. He bobbles it, throws quickly to first, and he's safe. The throw skips by Egler. He's after it. Doolin moves easily to third. Nabe kept going down the line and has to settle for first. Loudon picks up an error. Yount comes up to bat. Batter facing Anderson. Anderson prepared to work. Infield looking for the bunt. The runners take their lead. The pitch comes in. High fly ball to right. Bonin going back. He waits on it and hauls it in. Doolin is tagging. They're waving Doolin in. Here comes the throw. And he's safe easily. Yount picks up a sac fly and an RBI. Nabe retreats and holds first. The Terrapins are on the board. Score 8-1. Now coming up, Meyer. Pitcher Anderson eyeing Meyer. Now he's ready. The delivery. Meyer looks at strike 3. 2 down. Here comes Duncan to take his cuts. Catcher ready. The delivery from Anderson. Fastball, high. Free pass to Duncan, and the ump gives him first. Walsh getting ready to go. Walsh with dependable power. Anderson focuses in on the target. The pitch comes in. Pop foul behind third. Smith is over. He's under it and makes the catch. The line for the Terrapins, 1-1-1. They leave 2. They had good chances for more, but still trailed by 7. Terrapins behind the Buffheads, 8-1. Bonin, Anderson, then Egler to bat next. Bonin leading it off. Yount is ready to fire it in. Yount to the wind. Grounded to Knabe. He scoops it up. Flips the first. One away. Here's Anderson coming to the plate. Jacklish sets up. Yount comes home. Wide of the strike zone. Ball 4. And Anderson trots down to first. That was Anderson's first walk of the season. Here comes Egler to take his cuts. Yount comes set. Yount cranks it up. A laser off the bat of Egler. Doolin leaps for it. Over his head and on into left. Anderson is rounding second. And they hold Anderson up as the throw comes in. And Joe has himself a single. Third hit for Egler in the game. Smith is now up. Yount gets set to work on him. The runners take their lead. Now the pitch taken. Strike 3. He's gone. 2 away. Now coming to bat for the Buffheads, Hanford. Pitcher Yount set to go. The runners take their lead. And the pitch comes in. Taken. Ball. Hanford walks. That fills the bases. 2 down, 6th inning. Bases loaded. Next up, Loudon. Catcher Jacklish sets his target. The runners take their lead. He brings it home. Easy bounce out of Knabe. He scoops it up. Over to Doolin, covering second for the 3rd out. The half for the Buffheads. No runs on 1 hit. They leave 3. Buffheads still leading by 7 and will go to the home half. Jacklish, Simmons, and Swasina due up for Baltimore. Here's Jacklish to lead it off. Hitting .316. Batter up. Blair ready to receive. The pitch. Popped up. Back toward the screen. Blair throws off his mask. It's playable. And he covers it 1 down. Simmons is up next. Simmons knows how to get on base. Anderson looking in. The pitch. Fly ball right center. Hanford on his horse. But he won't get there. It's off the wall. And Simmons is into second easily. For Simmons, his first double of the season. Next batter, Swasina. Batter ready. Anderson poised. Simmons edges a bit more off second. Anderson fires it in. Swasina flips a rain bringer, twisting down the line. Not too deep. Bonin is after it, tracks it near the right field stripe, and he grabs it for the out. Simmons is tagging. Bonin sets, but they're holding him at second as the throw comes in. Doolin is up next. Anderson gets set to work on him. Anderson looks back at Simmons on second. The pitch. Lifted high to left. Delahanty is drifting toward the line. And he hauls it in. 3 down. The line for the Terrapins. No runs on 1 hit. They leave 1. They had a chance but could not convert. Buffheads over their Terrapins. 8-1. For Buffalo. Here in the 7th. Delahanty, Blair, and Downey. Delahanty to lead it off. Batter ready. Jacklish set. Yount brings it. Swung on and missed. Yount pulled the string. And Delahanty was way out in front. One down. Now coming up, Blair. Now Yount ready. Yount comes to him. Way off the plate. That'll be ball 4. And a free pass for Blair. Downey walking up the bat. Yount looking in. Yount brings it to the plate. Can't find the strike zone. That's ball 4. And Downey coaxes a walk. Bonin coming up. Yount will go to work on him. He lets it go. Bang to right. It's in there. Duncan fields it, throws it in, and the bases are loaded. That's Bonin's second hit of the game. 12 hit for the Buffheads. Bases all loaded up. The top of the 7th inning. Here's a pitcher, Anderson. Jacklish sets up. Infield back in double play depth. Popped high to the right side. Spacina moves under it. Infield fly called, and he makes the catch. And the runners hold. Buffalo now sends Egler to bat, hitting from the left side. We're back at the top of the order. 2 away, bases full for Buffalo. Egler relaxes himself at the plate. Yount gets set to work on him. The runners take their lead. Yount comes to him, wide of the strike zone. Ball 4, and Egler trots down to first, and that walks in a run. And the bases are still loaded, and that's 5 free tickets by Yount. And the Buffheads add to their big lead. The score now, 9-1. 2 away, ducks on the pond for Buffalo. Smith up to hit. Batter ready. Yount gets set to pitch. The pitch comes in. Hot smash to Nabe. He takes a short hop. Over to second for out number 3. For the Buffheads, a run on 1 hit. They leave 3. So the ship is sailing, and the Terrapins are not aboard. The score is 9-1 as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Okay, all you Buffheads fans listening at home, on your feet. Take a break for the 7th inning stretch.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back while it's root for the home team. They don't win, it's a shame. Well, it's 1, 2, 3 strikes you out at the old ball game.
The Terrapins will have Nabe, Yount, and Meyer here in the 7th. Leading off, Nabe. Anderson ready. Anderson fires it in. Slowly rolled toward Loudon. Loudon covers it plenty of time. Fires for out number 1. Here comes Yount to take his cuts. Anderson looking home. Terrapins. Skipper Mack walking down the bench. Mack is taking pitcher Yount out of the game. He's sending Russell to the plate. Matt's left. He shoulders a bat. He'll take his time getting to the box. So Yount goes 4 innings. He leaves with 1 earned run on 3 hits. Russell to bat. Anderson looking home. Anderson now just off the plate. And he issues a free pass. That was Russell's first walk of the season. Now coming up, Meyer. Blair, set. He comes home. Swung on. It's a high fly to center. Hanford roams over. Plenty of room. He's got it. 2 away. And Russell gets back safely. Now coming up, Duncan. Anderson focuses in on the target. Here's the delivery. Duncan lifts a lazy pop fly. Smith drifts back into left and brings it down. For the Terrapins, 0-0-0. They leave one. They had a chance but could not convert. The score still 9-1. Terrapins trail. The Buffheads now send up Hanford, Loudon, and Delahanty. Ridgway is coming on in relief for Baltimore. For Ridgway, this is his first appearance. He's a right-handed pitcher. With this game pretty well decided, they'll give him some innings. Hanford will start the 8th. Ridgway takes a few warm-up pitches. He's rubbing up the ball. We're ready to go. Ridgway staring in, ready to work. He lets it go. Grounded toward third. Walsh feels it. Fires. Got him. And that's out number 1. Loudon getting ready to go. Right-hander Ridgway ready. And now the pitch. Grounded to the right side. Swasina knocks it down. He's up with it. He flips to Ridgway, covering for the out. Delahanty up there. Delahanty ready to bat. Catcher ready. The pitch. Delahanty hits a comebacker. Ridgway knocks it down. Bear hands it and throws to first. A photo finish. And the ump calls Delahanty out. Ridgway sets them down in order. Terrapins still down by 8. Buffalo will now face the heart of the Terrapins lineup. Walsh, Jacklish, and Simmons coming up. Here's Walsh to lead it off. Right-hander Anderson ready. The pitch from Anderson. On the hand, Walsh flicks it to right. Downey might have a play. Racing back for it, but it falls in just out of reach, and Walsh is aboard with a single. Jacklish is now up. Anderson is ready to fire it in. Here's a pitch. A little roller to the right side. Downey running in. He pounces on it, throws quickly to first, and he's gone. And that's out number 1. Walsh moves up. Now coming to bat for the Terrapins, Simmons. Simmons ready to bat. Blair ready to receive. Walsh moves another step away from second. The pitch. Routine fly ball to right. Bonin camps in his tracks, and he covers it. Walsh is tagging. Bonin sets, but the coach flashes the stop sign as the ball is returned to the infield. Swasina is up next. Anderson poised. Anderson looks back at Walsh on second. Anderson comes to the plate. Check swing. They check with the first base ump. He punches him out. Side retired. For the Terrapins, nothing across. 1 left. They had a chance but could not convert. Buffheads up 9-1. For Buffalo, it'll be Blair, Downey, and Bonin. Blair leading off the 9th. Catcher ready. He lets it go. Blair wraps it to the right side. Nabe ranges to his left. A quick peg to first. And Blair is retired. One away. Downey up there. Ridgway looking home. Now Ridgway pitches. Healthy cut by Downey. He's out on strikes. 2 gone. Bonin is now up. Jacklish set. Now the pitch. Bonin hits a comebacker. Ridgway knocks it down. Barehands it and throws to first. Close play. And the ump calls Bonin out. The Terrapins retire the side in order. After 8 1/2, it's still 9-1 Buffheads. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Anderson will now face the bottom of the Terrapins lineup. Doolin, Nabe, and Ridgway coming up. Doolin leading it off. Right-handed Anderson goes to the set position. The pitch is on the way. A high drive to deepest center. Hanford has it all the way. Just allowed out. 1 down. Nabe walking up the bat. Batter ready. Now Anderson ready. He cranks and fires. Wide of the strike zone. Ball 4. And Nabe trots down to first. Ridgway to bat. Ridgway ready to bat. Pitcher Anderson set to go. Terrapins manager Mack looking at his score sheet. Mack is taking pitcher Ridgway out of the game. Who is it? Lobert will bat for him. Bats right. He grabs a bat. Walks confidently before the crowd. So Ridgway goes 2 innings. He yielded no runs on no hits. Lobert getting ready to go. Batter up. Catcher ready. He comes home. Ground ball. Smith is up with it. Fires to second, and they get him. Over to first. No, he's taken out by the runner. No throw. Meyer is now up. Blair crouched down now. The offering from Anderson. Slow bounder to first. Egler's got it. He'll touch it up himself to retire the side. The Terrapins have lost this game. The Buffheads have won it. Anderson has a solid 5 hitter. He picks up a complete game. That's his first complete game of the season. Not the outcome hoped for by the Baltimore fans. Here's the line for the Buffheads. 9 runs on 12 hits, 1 misadventure. They leave 8. For the Terrapins, a run on 5 hits, no errors. And they leave 9. Anderson gets his first win. His record now 1-1. Wilhelm takes his second loss. His record now 0-2. So that winds up this 3-game series. Buffheads take the series. Buffalo with 2 wins. Baltimore 1 for the Buffheads. Overall, they now stand at 4-2 for the Terrapins. Overall, 2-4. Bye for now, everybody. This is WAPBA and Ernie Harwell saying so long from Baltimore. Buffheads take this one from the Terrapins, 9-1.